We end off our story with a new argument between Optimus and Grimlock. Why didn't they just finish Megatron right then and there? And Grimlock makes a very accurate point. Because Kaon can still be salvaged. When Cybertron is rebuilt, and with new Cybertrons reborn, they're going to need cities, places, and history. They are going to remodel it after all, yes, but again, what can be salvaged from Kaon is its architecture, its culture even. And Grimlock even points out something. The Decepticons don't always have, or didn't start off with a rocky history. And this does make Optimus think about how Megatron and him originally were. And Grimlock is right. What's the point in destroying something that can be salvaged? Sure, they'll get rid of the bad parts, the weaponry, and maybe even the laboratories. But again, it's still a part of their history, still a part of their culture, whether they like it or not. But this is where Ultra Magnus chimes in, that right now they need to prepare, as he pretty much shows over a monitor that Megatron, with the Dark Star Saber now, mind you, and the Predacon and, Insecticons and the Leapers, or the Forge, if you will, along with Shockwave and Kickback, are pretty much just about to invade Iacon. So this is where Chromia tells everyone all hands on deck. And this is where Optimus simply wonders how he's going to even get to the Allspark in the first place. And Grimlock says that's simple. Magnus is going to take him. And Ultra Magnus looks at Grimlock like, what? What do you mean? To which he simply states, your ship is still available, is it not? You're also one of the best pilots here. Take Air Raid with you and Optimus to go ahead and get the Allspark. That way, you guys can easily navigate through space and being able to get things done a lot quicker. And this is where Air Raid actually agrees with Grimlock here, stating that right now, yeah, this does make the most sense. While yes, two commanders are gone, there's still a primary commander here, and the leader of the most fiercest team the Autobots have ever had. To which Optimus and Ultra Magnus both look at each other and ultimately agree that they have to do this. They have to get the Allspark. However, back on Earth, something else is taking place here. Unicron's anti-spark, if you will, or spark itself, whichever one you want to call it, is still searching around, looking for a host. He passes over multiple dead Cybertronians, and none of them possess Dark Energon, so he can't, or were once proprietors of Dark Energon, so he can't find anything. Until he feels something in another dimension. It's Skyquake. Huh. the Seeker still has its body. This will do greatly. So he passes into the Shadow Zone and takes over Skyquake's body, regenerating it and remolding it pretty differently. And I'm going to say this, and I feel like Unicron could have definitely done this if he had a bit more of his originality. He converts the body of Skyquake into a miniature version of himself, kind of like he does in the Transformers Revelations or Retaliation comic, where Vector Prime fights Ramjet. Basically, in that comic, he pretty much used his spark to corrupt an entire planet, fed on the concepts that were being, amplifying the planet itself, the evil, rage, vengeance, and stuff like that, and pretty much made himself into a new body. So why not give Transformers Prime Unicron this version, this ability, but he needs a dark energon field host in being able to do it. So Unicron is now reborn, much smaller, but still as powerful as ever. And he transforms and makes his way to Cybertron. Or at first he thinks, but then he feels something. No way. It's out here? After so long, so pure of energy is still alive. The All-Spark. And he makes his way towards it. Keep in mind, this is at the same time Optimus, Magnus, and Air Raid also make their way over there as well. Keep in mind, Optimus still is in his power surge mode, so Airbolt's still on him, as well as with Grimlock on Cybertron with the, power of, his Fire Blast form, So, Megatron with the Dark Star Saber simply states, now the reign of Megatron begins. And he uses the first wave of the Dark Star Saber to start slashing through buildings of Iacon. However, this is where the Autobots think they should attack, but Grimlock tells them no, they need to wait. And this is where RC simply explains, or simply argues, that he's destroying Iacon. And Grimlock simply states, yes, but he's also giving us more terrain to work with. To which Jazz takes a moment to analyze it, and he's like, oh, he's right. This is perfect, and it's more breathing room for their big guy. To which Grimlock says precisely, they'll strike when the moment is right. And so as Megatron stops using the Dark Star Saber, this is where the Autobots simply begin to attack. And they come from every single angle possible. And believe it or not, with Ironhide, Jazz, Chromia, and the Dinobots, as well as with RC, as well with Knockout and Ratchet kind of being in the, I guess you could say, the base of operations, if you will, and utilizing their more long-range weapons, which are more powerful, by the way, because of the synthetic energon being spread out evenly. This actually causes a lot of damage to the Decepticons. Insecticons fall, Leapers fall, and even some Predacons fall. But this is where we get another clash between Megatron and Grimlock. The Dark Star Saber versus Grimlock's now enhanced Ion Sword. Both of them cutting into each other, leaving deep gashing wounds. Albeit, Grimlock is a lot more durable now, thanks to the likes of Sawtooth. But he does make sure he puts up some defenses with his shield so that it doesn't even harm Sawtooth to begin with. And so, as the two begin to battle back and forth here, Skylynx and Darksteel see their opportunity. Megatron's being matched by somebody, and looks like he can be overpowered. So, this is where they ultimately tell the Predacons to stand down. And the Autobots and the rest of the Dinobots stop firing, because this ultimately means they could spare another race. The Predacons were, yes, created, but they were essentially reborn in a way. And so Skylynx and Darksteel simply state that Megatron doesn't view them as allies, doesn't even view them as, you know, even soldiers. They're just pawns in this game, and they're sick of it. To which Slug simply states, good, you made the right choice. However, this is where one other person doesn't agree with this, Shockwave. And he simply states, it's a shame that my own creations forced me to do this. And he presses a device on his cannon arm that sends a painful jolt throughout the Insecticons' body. Sorry, not the Insecticons, the Predacons' bodies. And slowly is going to kill them. And this is where he states, so now you have a choice. You either serve me or you can die slowly and painfully. But before Shockwave can even get it off, RC shoots him right in the eye again, but Chromia this time uses her cannon or her weapons as well to blow a further layer through Shockwave's head, killing him. This allows Snarl and Sludge to basically work out the mechanics of Shockwave's, own device, and they actually disable it, freeing the Predacons and earning their favor. Meanwhile, back with Megatron and Grimlock, Megatron sees that everyone's betrayed him. His army, his weapons of mass destruction, all useless pawns in his game that simply think they could betray the king. So he will execute them here and now. And this is where he even transforms to his dragon form and is about to just pretty much rain fire down, with only Grimlock being able to withstand that. And he tells everyone to get back. However, this is where Megatron feels a shadow creep over him, or pretty much sees a shadow creep over him, right? And this is where it's revealed to be Broadside. And he simply, he kills Megatron by simply sandwiching him between his hands, causing a metallic splat to simply, kind of be heard. It's a very painful and very disgusting, sound. Think of like you clapping your hands in between like a fly or a gnat, and it's able to make like a type of sound. And this is where it just falls to the ground with Megatron dead. So now the Autobots wait. They've won. They've ultimately did it. Yeah, they have eliminated everybody. However, one person tries to sneak away, this being Kickback. And as he does, a piece of debris falls on him. And this is where Slug is the one to walk over to him. And he's like, last time I spared you. And to which Kickback's like, yeah, you could do that again. And to which Slug is like, I don't know. You kinda did try to execute us and Icon and everything. To which Kickback is like, come on, that's a minor mistake. You don't have to kill me. And so Slug is like, yeah, I kinda do. So, and he's like transforming into his Triceratops form, as he kind of says this. So, yeah, I'm just gonna have to really crush you this time. Into which he actually just steps on the door and begins to apply force to it, to where you see Kickback's body kind of just squish and squelch, and then his head just simply rolls. And to which Slug is like, won't be making that mistake again. And so this is where we have to pan over to Optimus. He and Air Raid are navigating through space along with the storm itself. And this is where Unicron actually appears. Optimus Prime in his power surge mode, along with an upgraded Starsaber, then begins to do battle with Unicron. However, with the Allspark at stake, he tosses it to Air Raid, who jettisons it back to Ultra Magnus' ship and tells them to go. He will hold off Unicron and end this once and for all. And so as they do so, Unicron tries to, go and get the ship, right? Transform, tries to grab it. However, Optimus does the same thing he did to Megatron back at Dartmouth, grabbing him by the wings, but he throws Unicron into the constant cosmic storm that pretty much happens. So Unicron is bombarded repeatedly by the storm, and Optimus, then utilizing his powers here, actually begins to put the debris that pretty much came from the storm and begins to kind of form a sort of barrier between him and Unicron. This means that Unicron is actually in between a wall and a storm here. And it's kind of funny because you see Unicron trying to monologue while he's getting hit by this cosmic storm, but he does utilize his dark energon manipulation to simply blast through the debris and then chases after Optimus. Optimus and him then begin to clash all the way till they get to Cybertron, where Magnus and Air Raid have arrived in due time. However, this is where everyone pretty much sees Optimus and Optimus and Unicron pretty much clashing, doing their best. And this is where Grimlock simply tells the Dinobots, let's end this. And so the Dinobots all transform into beast forms, and they all charge at Unicron here. Unicron's able to blast a few back here, and he's about to kill Sludge here. Well, this is where Skylynx and Darksteel tackle him away and unleash their own fire breath as well. This is where the other Dinobots join in, all pretty much blasting him with a heat of fire, a heat so intense that no one should be able to withstand it. But again, this is Unicron, to which Grimlock then transforms into his upgraded T-Rex form and then blasts Unicron as well. It's coming from all these angles, and this is where Grimlock kind of looks at Prime like, hey, you good? Is you gonna finish this? And so Optimus, channeling every bit of power he has, straight up blast Unicron with it. The combination of this molten flame, the power of a Prime itself, this actually does incinerate Unicron's body and eliminates his spark, thus ending it. So it's over. They did it. Even Optimus has to admit they did it. And keep in mind, at this time, Grimlock, Sawtooth, and Optimus and Airbolt both defuse, all exhausted from the amount of power that they drained. It's absolutely breathtaking that they made it. And this is where Optimus simply walks over to Grimlock, as he would probably have a bit more energy due to the Matrix, and extends his hand to him and helps him up. But he tells his lieutenant, thank you for everything. I really am in your debt. But you also understand that Cybertron is going to need a new High Council. To which Grimlock looks at him like, you can't be serious. To which Optimus is like, indeed, we've all earned this position. Every last one of us. But obviously this does come with its own merits. There's going to have to be someone to basically reclaim everything. We have systems and an entire galaxy to rebuild. Cybertronian worlds that have supplies to help us better ourselves for the future. Moon bases, stations, and everything. To which Grimlock says, alright, I see what you're doing. You want to make Cybertron not only better than what it was before, but more prepared for otherworldly threats. I can get behind that. Into which Optimus then takes the Allspark into the well. And well, no pun intended, this not only restores Cybertron, but gives life to the next generation. I always felt like it was kind of weird that they actually restored Cybertron, but never managed to, kind of had the ability to rebirth it. So I thought about it, what if the Allspark had the power to do both? It's meant to be like, an all-powerful weapon, right? So why not have it be able to not only birth new generations of Cybertronians, but to give life to, the planet as well. I mean, it is a part of it after all, right? So, yeah, what happens from here? Well, I think Cybertron would live peacefully. Autobots and any Decepticon that chooses to join would actually be able to prosper peacefully. Military positions, new economy, all built and rebuilt better than what it was before. And with Optimus actually wondering, Still having that little bit of regret, mind you. But again, he is at more peace with himself. But he would always wonder, if he had listened to his lieutenant earlier, would everything have been better? But that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below about how you feel about this short little what if. Be able to sure to comment, like, and subscribe and share with your friends. And I'll see you guys for the next what if that I'll be finishing and wrapping up. Peace.